There's a couple of things I wanted to put up this morning, and one is this. I just saw the last in a series of movies about uh, Billy Jack. It was the actor that starred in that role was Tom Laughlin. Now, I met him when I was out at Larry Flint's in October of '83. I was invited to Mr. Flint's home twice. He helped me in a campaign, U.S. congressional campaign, to replace Congressman Lawrence Larry McDonald, a doctor at Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta. His plane went down August the 31st of '83, and I was flown out to Mr. Flint's. Mr. Laughlin, I thought was quite. He ran for president too. Very few people, I guess, knew that. They didn't know that either. But I heard one of his speeches, and he's very impressive. But he played in this movie, and I happened to wake up again early in the morning, and ironically, it was on one of the channels that shows the older movies and TV series. But the movie Billy Jack are all, I think there's three of them, I'm not sure, but they're good, really. They were made back in probably, I think, the first movie in 73. So around about that time they were filmed. And this one I had not seen, Billy Jack Goes to Washington. But I think that everyone, if you get to see this, take note of, especially of the last 45 minutes. And you'll know what I'm speaking of. So now I want to go to this. I put this up on Facebook, but I Googled it and I couldn't get the video up on YouTube that I know of. I was afraid I might not be allowed to use it, but I didn't know how to put it up on YouTube. Okay, it's about, I found out that Mark Zuckerman of Facebook is the grandson of David Rockefeller, who helped kidnap me, the global government now that's in power. And I'm not a biblical person, but I can't see how some of this isn't coming true. But anyway, I've been going to the social media and to Facebook especially and YouTube and putting up all this about my kidnapping, the takedown of my father, Edward the Eighth, and the aftermath of it that people don't pay attention to. What happened after my kidnapping and the takedown of my father, who never married Wallace Simpson. He was married to American Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, Windsor. And thus an imposter married Wallace Simpson in the plot to take down my father, and I was born in '39 and they kidnapped me in '41. So you got this very group of people that kidnapped me. The Rothschilds are the banking, and Rockefeller's the media. Well, they're all in it together, and then you've got the Windsors, some of the Windsors that are in it. I'd like to say this: there's some of my family that are very decent, good people, a lot of them. It's this Windsor's, the illegal George the Sixth, and the outreach of that branch of the Windsors that is beyond belief, and people love them. Well, they're illegal, let me say that. What I wanted to get to, though, also is the Kennedys. Joe Kennedy was appointed ambassador to England by Roosevelt, FDR, 36 till he kicked him out in 46. His son JFK and the old man, Ambassador Joe, was part of my kidnapping and being brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. I still have to use that name. The twins were dead. But I want to get back to this because I couldn't put it up and I've just got it scattered here. But I was talking about the Tesla files that were stolen back in '30. So much of it has to do with that because Tesla evidently had such a brain, so much information. Part of it was the mind control, and also that you can create an illness or cure it way back then. Now then, there was a lot that I put up that I Googled and I did get up on Facebook. I really wish I could have put it up on YouTube, but I don't have the means to do that right at the moment. It was really informative. But the one thing that I wanted to put is the Rothschilds, Rockefellers are Freemasons, and so is that part of the Windsors, illegal George the Sixth, Elizabeth, all of it. Um, okay, they're connected back, which is really important to the bank houses of Morgan Freeman. And by the way, during the Tesla, I'm not going to repeat this because I don't have it. I knew this, but I found it on Google also, the connection to when Tesla, he was murdered. His ashes were given. Maybe you can go and Google it and see it. But Morgan Freeman was they were friends and they're in on research. So anyway, I don't want to go further because I can't remember it and I don't have that written down. It says down there too, four horsemen of the banking: Chase Manhattan, Wells Fargo, etc. I don't have all of that either. Exxon Mobil, etc. Anyway, the House of Morgan fell under Rothschilds and Rockefellers. So you got your four horsemen of banking are among the top 10 stockholders. I'm just going to go on and anyway, House of Windsor was cozy with the House of Morgan. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Maybe you'll Google it. It's important, but I think people just dismiss a lot of them. Just dismiss it. The other thing I wanted to say was the press. They have, when you can lie and delete about my father's takedown illegal, and yet it's on YouTube, some of it, and the rest of it's total lies. He never married Wallace Simpson. It was a plot to take him down because he was to be king and he had no part of this crap. So they took him out. Then, surprise, surprise, I'm born, and there was an addendum to his abdication, which was forced. When he married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, not Wallace Simpson, a double was used to marry Wallace, an imposter. So, because of the addendum, I was a legal heir to the British Crown the day I took my first breath. It would have brought my father back as guardian and power of attorney. So therein they kidnapped me, and they still stalemated my father. And God knows what all they did to my mom and dad. And I know what they did to me. And the press, even when I have walked in and presented it, they have already known back when I was kidnapped. And it's controlled by the people that kidnapped me. And you're going to say, well, how are you able to say this then? Well, maybe you should ask yourself these questions. I don't know that it's done me any good. And yet again, maybe it has. But the question should be, why have you allowed this group of thugs, and I've been turning it over to Facebook, which is the grandson. Zuckerman is the grandson. I didn't know it until recently. David Rockefeller. The press is so controlled, and the only person, and I hope he's real, and because of people on his staff, I believe he will try to do the right thing. The press is after him, and you know something? If the truth is finally told, and it would have to do or be like the Billy Jack series before Congress, Congress is no good, most of them, but they never have been. But to force the television to cover it, then it takes them down. It shows what bullies, what corrupt the mainstream media is. I'm talking about the Washington Post. You should say, I wish there's videos when I was in there. But all of them have denied what's been done to my father. That's the biggest lie that changed history. They have not spoken of the weapon of mind control. That's what I was using, I was writing about when Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. And later I was flown out to his home in a campaign to replace the doctor I wrote about, one of them, Larry McDonald from Piedmont Hospital, Atlanta. So I'm going to stop here because really it is scattered because I don't have this written down. I put it up on Facebook, but anybody else can Google it, and you really should, because here's another thing here. Where do your Social Security checks go to if you have them? Well, let's just say, who controls that banking? Your Social Security. You know, the deal is that I know personally why I was given a lot of this information over my lifetime. I remember the date Stewart Avenue in near Atlanta. Lakewood, it's been so long, shopping center. We had a house there briefly in the winter of about, well, I know when it was, 1959. The next door neighbor was up in AT&T, and he actually showed some things about what I know now is the internet, came to be the internet. So this was in progress a long time ago by the Rockefellers, the New World Order, the Illuminati, Freemasons. So then later here comes the internet and all that, and the real joke is it's controlled by the Rockefellers, Rothschilds. You're handing over all this. I did myself to Facebook, social media, and then you had Obama come in about a month ago and call Mark Zuckerman, and it was on TV. They're trying to shut down, calling it the free press and false information on Facebook. Well, my gosh, Rockefeller's grandson runs, Zuckerman runs Facebook. So, point being, everything's up on the internet, Facebook, social media. You got to know that whoever put it together way back then controls it. That would have to be the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the Freemasons. So let me just ask you this question. You've got all your banking, you've got all your you got all the information. You've uploaded it onto the internet. What if these founders of the internet, and that's the Freemasons, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, what if they decide to shut it down? What in the heck are you going to do?